Hello everybody and welcome back to Expedition Homestead. I want to thank you guys all so much for tuning in to our very first seed starting episode of the season. As you guys know from past years, the springtime can be extremely busy if you're a gardener, and that is definitely the case for me, especially having this YouTube channel and wanting to get out as much quality, educational, and fun content for you guys. So today's going to be the first video about that. I figured it would be a great opportunity to start off with a very simple tip that is going to save you guys some headache in the long run. I know it's going to save you some headaches because I've been through it myself. Almost every single year, I get my seeds ready and I plant them in the trays. I label my popsicle sticks, pop them into the soil, and I seem to always have trouble with putting the moisture dome over the top, or over time, those popsicle sticks, they just fade away. And I've realized that there's a very simple way that we can avoid this. We can just avoid this headache altogether. We can simplify this whole process, and we can also condense the amount of materials that is needed, therefore having less waste in the entire process because of it. All you guys are going to need for this is a sheet of paper right here, a level or ruler or some sort of a straight stick, something to create a grid type pattern on this piece of paper. And then it also helps to have a couple of highlighters handy as well. You'll also need some duct tape, but I don't have that in front of me here. You guys can probably start to get the gist of what we're going to do here. What we've done is taken our piece of paper, created a grid pattern right on top of it. That is going to reflect our seed starting tray right here. And then take a piece of duct tape on the front right corner and the left rear corner. Tape, tape. And label those. Assuming that you would have multiple trays, a really easy way to do this is label one of them R1 and the other one L1. And each consecutive tray that you have after that point, you would label 2 or 3 or 4. So we have R1, L1 right here. My R1 is over here and my L1 is up here. The next tray that I do is going to be R2 and L2. Now, the beauty of this system is that you don't have all of this material in your seed starting trays that quite frankly, it always gets in the way when you're germinating and growing your seeds. And then for these sheets of paper, you can just put them in a folder. You have a folder full of all of your seeds in one spot that you can look through, which is also helpful when planning out your garden or looking through what you have, or just out of curiosity, spending a little bit of time studying what you have growing. All of your papers are going to be in one simple, easy to read folder for you guys. That I have found is going to be such a game changer when it comes to starting my seeds indoors. It allows me to grow a lot more seeds with a lot less labeling and finicking around with those popsicle sticks, because you've got to write like tiny little letters, and then if you're using a Sharpie, the Sharpie bleeds all over the place, and by the time you're done with it, you can't even read what you wrote in the first place, so you're just kind of throwing them around in the garden, the landscape, wherever you want to, assuming and hoping that they're gonna grow the plants that you hope they were. I know you guys have been in that position, as I have throughout my years of gardening, and I'm super excited about this one. So Let's get some of these seeds germinating as we speak. We're going to start off with a couple of perennial flowers and then some herb seeds. Why am I starting with these seeds? Well, because it's really early in the season. It is March 1st, so I don't want to be growing a lot of our vegetable seeds yet. We've got to wait a little bit longer until I do that, because the last frost date around here, to be honest, can span well into April and sometimes May. Unfortunately, if we rush ahead of ourselves, we're going to end up with a bunch of plants that are overgrowing the space downstairs that it's going to be a mess. But with these herbs, I know confidently I can grow these inside well ahead of the season. I can propagate them, separate them out if I need to. That way I will have a very, very nice, strong, healthy plant of all of these varieties here when it comes time to plant them outside. So we're going to start off and show you guys. I'm just going to list everything that we are planting in case you guys are curious. So maybe if you want to do the same thing at home, that would be awesome. We've got lupine. This is a tutti frutti mix of lupine. Classic perennial flower right there. These are Canterbury bells. I've never grown these before, but my wife really liked them. They're like cup and saucer type flowers. They got a beautiful mixed colors of pinks, purples, and whites in there. And then for the herbs we have, these are all from Botanical Interest. I've got a great video on online seed shops where you guys can get some great quality seeds. Just head over to my channel and give that a search. Just search in the search bar. Seed shops online expedition homestead and you will find it. We've got lemon balm. This is a oregano. I believe this one's common. Yeah, this is a common oregano. We've got a true Greek oregano. We have a lavender hyssop. We have winter savory. And then we have chamomile right here. Some of these are actually going to be perennial in our zone. We have the Greek oregano, the lavender hyssop, the savory winter, and maybe even the common oregano might be able to make it in our zone, but most likely it's not going to. I think only the true Greek will make it here in Wisconsin. But those are all the seeds we're growing right here. We're going to start them out. So I am going to plant them into the soil. I've got this handy dandy tool here where I can just poke in a 1/4 inch to all of these little pods here. And then we're going to drop the seeds in and give them a nice little watering to get them started for the year. Using a tool like this does come very handy because there is a measuring line on the side. So if you have varying depths that you have to plant your seeds at, just picking one of these up at your local gardening shop, it really, really is also a lifesaver, a nice little tip for you guys to use one of those as well. All right, we've got all of our seeds ready to germinate in the tray here, and then we've listed off all of them as well. This is where the highlighters are going to be very helpful. So you don't have to list every single cell of the tray unless you're using a different seed for every single cell, which you're most likely not going to be. You can use a highlighter for the group. So as you can see, I went in rows here. So each row, I just used the highlighter to illustrate that entire row is going to be the same seed of the same type. That way you can keep them separated and you don't need to write down on, if you got like a 72 cell tray, you don't need to be writing down every single cell. You can just do the different seeds you have, group them with your highlighters, and you guys will all be good to go. I hope you really do give this a try because it's going to simplify your seed starting process, reduce waste, and make it very easy to maintain organization while starting your seeds indoors in preparation for the upcoming season. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys stay tuned for the spring and summer, as there's going to be a ton of projects. Some of you might know that we just built 7 new raised garden beds in our backyard, and we do plan on building even more. So, as you can imagine, there's going to be a lot of content when it comes to raising these beds full of beautiful, healthy vegetables, as well as our different perennial herbs, flowers, and landscaping projects that we have throughout this entire property that we just moved into earlier last year in the spring of 2020. There's going to be so much stuff happening. I want to thank you guys all so much for the continued support and viewership and community. Feel free to comment down below if there's anything that I didn't cover in this video, or if you have any questions. I will definitely try to get to them. Otherwise, we have a great community of viewers that do like to help each other out. So I'm sure if somebody else saw a question that I couldn't get to, hopefully they will answer as well. Happy gardening, and we'll see you in the next episode.